Ever tried to decode the unique language that is Australian slang? It's a bit like learning a new language. Down under, we have a multi-layered linguistic landscape, including schooled English, Aussie slang, and Outback English. Each level has its own charm and complexity, a reflection of the country's rich culture and history. Australian slang, in particular, is a colourful concoction of metaphors, idioms, and phrases that can leave even the most language-savvy individuals scratching their heads. A fair crack of the whip isn't about whips at all, but a plea for fairness. Having a captain cook doesn't involve seafaring or cooking, but simply taking a good look at something. These phrases, among many others, are a testament to the humour and creativity of Aussies, who have a knack for making the mundane sound mystical and the ordinary outlandish. So buckle up as we dive into the colourful and confusing world of Australian lingo. Now, let's crack on and unravel some popular Aussie slang terms. First up, we have fair crack of the whip. This phrase is all about fairness, equivalent to saying give it a fair go or give it a fair chance. For example, if you're trying out for a footy team, your mate might say, give the bloke a fair crack of the whip, he's got potential. Next we've got have a captain cook. No, this doesn't involve sailing or exploring new lands. Having a captain cook means to take a good look at something or someone. If you're snooping around, your friend might say, "Oi, stop having a captain cook at my messages." Then there's, what's the John Dory? Even though John Dory is a type of fish, in this context it's asking about the latest gossip or news. So if you've been away for a bit, you might ask your friend, "What's the John Dory?" to catch up on what you've missed. Moving on, we have a few stubbies short of a six-pack. This colourful phrase is a playful way of saying that someone isn't quite right in the head, or they're acting a bit strange. For instance, if your mate starts talking to a lamppost, you might say, "I think he's a few stubbies short of a six-pack." Lastly, we have a dog's breakfast. This phrase is used to describe something that's a mess or not well presented, and it's not just about food. For example, if you see a room that's in complete disarray, you might say, "This place looks like a dog's breakfast." These phrases might seem bizarre, but they're all part of the rich tapestry of Australian language. The beauty of Aussie slang lies in its creativity and humour, painting vivid pictures with words and phrases that might seem nonsensical at first glance. But once you crack the code, you'll be speaking like a true Aussie in no time. These phrases might seem bizarre, but they're all part of the rich tapestry of Australian language. Ready for more? Here come some of the more complex and frankly hilarious Aussie slang terms. Let's start with the dog's breakfast. Despite its literal interpretation, this doesn't refer to a pet's meal. Instead, it describes anything that's a disorganized mess, not just food. So, if your room looks like a cyclone hit it, you've made a dog's breakfast of it. Next up, we have wrap your laughing gear around that. Laughing gear, that's your mouth. So when someone says this, they're telling you to take a bite or have a drink. It's often used when sharing a delicious meal or cold beverage. Lastly, flat out like a lizard drinking. Picture a lizard, tongue flicking rapidly to drink. That's how busy you are when you're flat out like a lizard drinking. It's a colourful way to say you're extremely busy, and it's quintessentially Australian. These expressions certainly give colour to the Australian dialect, don't they? Let's delve into regional slang that reflects Australia's diverse geography. In the land down under, we might call you by where you come from, rather than your name. For example, toads and banana benders are both playful nicknames for Queenslanders, whereas cockies are folks from New South Wales. If you're from Western Australia, you might be referred to as a sand groper. And if you're from South Australia, the locals might call you a crow eater. Then, we have the term bushman's handkerchief, which is not a fancy accessory, but an earthy way of saying that you're using your hand to clear your nose. So, you're a toad, a banana bender, a cocky, a sand groper, a crow eater, or just someone using a bushman's handkerchief. You're part of the vibrant lexicon that is Australian slang. This concludes our tour of Australian slang, a language as diverse, humorous, and captivating as the country it represents.